Howdy, this is Mackenzie Franklin from SideGame LLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Today we're going to be teaching how to play For Sale using the Advisors expansion. Now I'm going to assume that you already know how to play the base game of For Sale, and instead we're just going to be talking about the changes to gameplay in the Advisors expansion. And oh boy, there was a lot. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing to know when you play For Sale is there is an additional deck of cards that you'll grab. So it's the red deck here that's going to contain all of your advisor cards. You're going to shuffle this deck up along with your other two decks, your houses and your values, and then you're going to remove a number of cards based on the number of players. So if you're playing with 3 players, you remove 6. If you're playing with 4, you remove 2. Otherwise, you'll play with all of them. In addition, you'll have starting money that will also change in value based on the number of players you're playing. So it's an increase from the old game. So you're going to be playing with 28,000 with 3 or 4, or 20,000 with 5 or 6. So there are some extra $6,000 tokens here that you can use to help with that gap. Another big change is this game is no longer played in halves, but it's played in thirds. And you're going to play 3 phases. Now that being said, let's go ahead and talk about those phases. So the first thing that you're going to play with is the advisor phase. And this kind of takes place of the house phase in the main game. So you're going to reveal cards equal to the number of players. And these cards are going to have values on them and different colors. Now the values are actually going to be how you're going to be buying your houses in the house phase. So instead of spending your money on the houses in this game, you're spending your money on the advisors. So during this hiring advisors phase, on your turn, you're going to put out a number of money, and that's how much you are bidding for the highest advisor. So if I put this 2 out here, I'm trying to get the 17. The next player could outbid me if they'd like, or they can take the lowest one. So they can pick and choose how they want to proceed. Now, when it gets back to you, you have a choice. You can either increase your bid so that you can win the highest card, and hopefully it'll get back to you and everybody else will have passed. Or you can pass, and if you do, I know that this is some controversy based on the additions, you are going to lose half of your money. So they also take back half of their bid rounded down. So if I did a 2, that's fine. I just get 1 back from the bank, and I lose the other half, but I'll take that lowest card. However, if I had bid an odd number here, so if I had, say, 5 coins and I decided to drop out, I'd have to lose 3 of my dollars. Why are you bidding on them? We talked about how these are going to be the values that you're going to buy the houses with. In addition, though, each of these advisors has a special ability that's going to be used based on the phase that the color matches. So these brown ones here, they're going to be matching this brown deck of cards. So these trigger in the advisor phase. Like this one says, if you take him, you get back all the money you bid instead of half. So I'd actually keep my $2 here and I wouldn't lose anything, which is kind of nice. So I get a little bit of safety. Now these other colors refer to their associated phases. So these are going to happen during the house purchasing phase. Other cards in the deck have to deal with the purchase phase, so when you're selling your houses for values, and then at endgame scoring. So some of these effects will be immediate, some of them will be one-time use, and some of them will be persistent. But the big thing is if you have a one-time use ability, after you use it, you flip it face down. There's a full list of the abilities of all the different characters in the rulebook here, and I'll let you go ahead and explore those on your own. They're separated into the different phases and the different values of those cards. So after everybody has bid and passed, generally you're going to be using a lot of your money to get these cards. You'll have a whole entire hand of these advisor cards. And then that's when you move to the housing phase. Now the housing phase, it works a little bit differently. So once again, you're going to reveal cards equal to the number of players. And then instead of bidding with money for houses as you did in the base game, you're going to be using your advisor cards. But this one is a one-time auction. So the way it works is when it's your turn to bid on the houses, you'll play a single card face up. That is your bid value. You want the highest number. If you have the highest number at the end of everybody playing a card, you get to pick the highest card as your reward. So let's just, for example's sake, say that this player over here plays the 13 and this player here plays the 17. It's done. This is the values that you've bid. So then you go in reverse order. The 17 would take the 14, this 5, and this 4, and then you go to the next round. You'll deal 3 more of these, and then the person who won the last one goes first this time. Just standard For Sale rules. And that's really the biggest change here. After you finish with all the houses, you're going to do the same thing as you do in the base game by revealing your values, and you'll use your houses in order to auction for these. But this time you'll play face down, just like the normal For Sale game. So the biggest change here is the addition of a new phase, using your advisor cards to actually face up bid on these one time, and then using the effects of those advisors based on the specific phase. And don't forget, at the end of the game, if you have any of these white cards here, they're going to give you new ways to score points at the end of the game. The last thing that I want to mention is there is a 2-player variant. There is a QR code in the rulebook that you can look up for a 2-player version of the game, but that is something that I'm going to leave for you to explore on your own. With that being said, that's all of the changes in the For Sale Advisors expansion. Are you excited to give this one a try? Is this one that you think is worth your time? I know it drastically changes the simplicity of the game by adding all these player powers, so I'm curious to see what you think about it. But thank you so much for watching. Side Game Strong.